Welcome to the sessions, everybody. This is the first quarantine edition. This is the second time we've been trying to get these two gentlemen on here. Our first time was kind of crazy. We dealt with some serious technological issues with my creepy studio in Concord that shuts everything down.
Yeah, that was weird.
But thanks. Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be our very first episode, quarantine edition. I want to first and foremost, thank all my patrons on my Patreon account. You guys are directly helping to finance putting this together, so I appreciate all of you. Thank you for supporting, and I hope you all enjoy the podcast that we put together for you. Today I have two really good homies. I've known these guys forever. First one is Devon Barry, also known as Stretch, one of the great, doing some amazing things in photography. He actually has one of his pictures right behind him right now. Took it today, so guy's amazing with photography. He's actually helped me out with the Vision Seeker art showcase that's going on right now on the Patreon. So the next couple videos, he's gonna showcase some of his work. My other buddy, Robert Wilson, amazing guy. I've been tattooing him for a minute now, and he's like the tech guy. He knows everything about computers. He's a whiz, but a good homie. I love both these guys, and thanks, guys, for coming on the show.
Appreciate you for having
us, man.
Glad to do it. Attempt to do it again.
How you all holding up in this crazy world that we're in right now?
It's actually been oddly peaceful, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been peaceful. It's been weird because I've been able to find kind of a smooth balance of, being here with the kids. I don't know, it's just nice. I've been making the best of it, bro. I can't really complain too bad.
How about you, Bob?
It's been insightful. As we were going into the quarantine, Stretch said something that sort of kind of resonated, and it's sort of kind of holding true even for me. He said, people are going to come out of this quarantine either a hunk, a chunk, or a drunk. And,
that's so true.
Right? And so I've been trying to make sure I fall out on that hunk side of the equation. And just, I don't know, I've been working on trying to, just get everything in order, bro. Get my diet in order, get my handling of my affairs, all of that sort of shit just together. Because, yeah, I ain't got nothing but time these days.
Yeah. I think that's important, especially considering this is like a big health scare for everyone. It's like, this is an opportunity for everyone to like do some things to take care of your health, get your immunity up, because some weird shit out there right now.
For sure.
Be doing things to take care of yourself. That's the best thing we could do to keep ourselves out of the hospital. So
yeah, that's why I try to avoid that place. I've been saying health as well. I've been slacking on my diet a little bit, but about to get back on track. Get more active, getting the kids out there. We did the hiking thing today, so I think we're going to make that an effort to go at least 3 or 4 times a week just to get them out there moving. And
so they got those parks open? Did they ever close them? Or
they closed them for a bit, but I guess since the restrictions got let up a little bit, they're just telling you to practice social distance, and they closed the bathrooms. The trails, some parking lots are closed, so you can't go too far into the park, driving too far into the park. But it seems like most of them are open. I want to take one of the trips probably to Mount Diablo, hit up a hike up there one of these upcoming weekends, take the kids out there. Just kind of explore, man. It's been nice trying new things.
Very nice. Hell yeah. I know I've been trying to do the parks here. They just opened up this week too. So I'm going to definitely be hitting the more trails. I'm waiting for camping to open up.
Oh, bro, I want to camp so bad. I want to camp.
Yeah. I think they're worried about the restroom situation. I think that's the only reason that they're not opening them up. The restrooms. But I'm like, man, if you camping, don't be using the restroom. Go piss bushes.
Go dig a hole. Dig a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to do overlanding, bro. That's my big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make an overlanding vehicle and just kind of just take us all a week, 2 weeks, and be out there. You know, but
Yeah, my buddies out in New Mexico used to do that shit all the time.
that's so tight, bro. Just that I like the sense of the idea of just having the freedom just to pull off wherever, and like that's where you're pulling. That's their sleeping night. You know, and
Yeah,
it's comfortable, but it's also unfamiliar at the same time. So, you know,
absolutely.
it seems pretty interesting to me.
Oh yeah. So, Devon, you got kids. How's that been like with them having them home? Well, you both have kids. How's it been like having them home?
It's actually dope, bro. But it turned out to be better than I thought. At first, it was some adjusting because they miss the social interaction with their friends and whatnot. But when they had the ability to chat, the school kind of got their distance learning program set up, so now they can chat and they have meetings, weekly meetings, so they get to see their classmates and socialize and kind of see how they're doing. So they're doing a little bit better with that. Um, as far as like, I feel like it's nice because I have the ability to kind of teach them things like practical skills that they miss out being at school. The stuff that they're learning a lot of the other times from other people and not
Yeah,
necessarily me. So having them here is nice to. It keeps me in check because it makes me fix a lot of my, it makes me straighten up a little bit, bro. Because I don't want to be a hypocrite and be like, hey, don't do that. It's a violation because they
yeah,
definitely, So, so it's been nice, man. I enjoy it.
that's cool. How about you, Bob?
It's it's been interesting. um I definitely resonate with Stretch on it's been refreshing being able to actually be the one teaching them now.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's been interesting finding out what they put their teachers through in their attempts to not do shit. You
Yeah.
bro, because like my 10-year-old, she's good, right? But when she has to do this whole distance learning thing, like I don't feel like she handles isolation well. Like she works
Mhm.
well in a group, but like when she's on her own and she has to drive that, like she moves on to other shit hella quick and then she wants to do something else. And so like her math, she was supposed to be doing one lesson a day, and fault on me, I didn't double check. I just trusted her word, right?
Uh,
Turns out she was doing one math problem a day.
One math.
oh,
One math
no.
problem a day,
She's
my dude.
page.
I went in there and I took a look, bro, and she's like literally on the first lesson, bro, like question 9, and I'm like, what the hell, bro?
What are you working on?
Right. And so, I mean, yeah, it's been cool. I mean, like I said, it's been refreshing. It's been revealing. I've been able to sort of kind of get a full bearing now on who my kids are, because when they're gone, for that time of the day, we assume that they're who we raised them to be, but you don't really know.
Nah, bruh.
Right.
Nah. The question is,
They forming their own personalities.
Bob, were you that guy growing up?
Bro, I wasn't. So funny story. My 13-year-old pocket called me one day while she was at school, bro.
Oh,
And
shit.
I heard her drop so many fucking F-bombs, but at the same time, they were so appropriately placed because whoever was talking to her was on some bullshit. And so like she was vehemently turning them down and she was just dropping F-bombs. And I'm like, now I wouldn't approve of this if she was standing in front of me. But now that she's out on her own, I feel like she handled that adequately.
I mean, but that's all we hope for as parents, bro. That's all we hope for is they can handle their business adequately without no funk.
Right.
Yeah, because I know Jocelyn's about to be giving people problems.
Oh man, yeah, these girls, bro. I trip off of now, I guess, being a dad of girls, seeing the other side, right? Being the young boy growing up, you're always like, oh man, it'd be cool, mess with some girls. Now I'm like, oh hell no, bro. Like if I'd have known now what I knew, like, or if I'd have knew back then what I knew now, absolutely not, bro. I'd have kept my head in the books. Women are crazy, even more so when they're younger.
Yeah.
I feel like their minds like they're definitely like socially way ahead of boys. So
It is. That
they
is.
know how to fuck with the little boys, man.
We'll see what it is they got that emotion game down, bro. And so it ain't even that like they done figured out the logic side. They just know how to play us against each other so smooth, bruh, that they don't even have to have the recipe. You feel me? They don't got to have the answer for 2 + 2 because Billy's fighting Johnny right now.
It's true though. You know, it's like women, they didn't, you know, historically have not been the stronger of the two the female male. You know, males dominate because of their strength. Well, women learn how to control men through emotions because they're much
Right.
emotionally adept than us for sure.
Yeah, I was cracking up. I started watching Idiocracy last night.
Oh my god, bro!
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Maya Rudolph had me cracking up because dude was standing there at the ATM like, "How? I'll wait 2 whole days." Like, oh, he's like, "Oh yeah,
I'll wait so good for you."
I was cracking up. I was like, Maya, it's like, okay, well, she got paid for that, and dude is waiting 2 days for what? I don't know, but you told him to do it. And I was like, you know what? I was like, that show it's an exaggeration, but definitely exposes a lot of truth.
Well, how close does it, like, obviously exaggeration, but there's so many similarities
It's freaking scary, bro.
that's in that film.
Yeah, it creeps me out.
It is scary. Brondo has what plants crave.
That movie is hilarious. I fell asleep midway through.
Oh yeah. Whatchamacallit, I finally watched Extraction on like a total different swing.
Oh my god.
Extraction, what's that?
Oh my god. So it's this movie with Chris Hemsworth. It's on Netflix. He plays this mercenary who gets tasked with saving this drug dealer's kid. And so, like, you know, spoiler alert, like the whole turn of the movie is essentially the drug dealer's right-hand man hired him and double-crossed him because they couldn't afford to pay him because the drug dealer was in jail. Right. And so this fool Chris Hemsworth ends up fighting the rival drug dealers' forces, which include this, like, the Bangladesh police force, you feel me? And like this one-man army that works for the gangster dude whose kid he's trying to save. It has some amazing action scenes in it, bro.
The action scenes were crazy.
Yeah.
The action scenes were crazy for sure.
Like if
that's
you
Thor, right?
Yeah. He was slamming him like Thor. I'll tell you that.
Oh my god, bro. Like if you like that John Wick type, you know, close quarters combat, you feel me, quick reaction time, like it was all of that just in the scope of the military. And so it was gritty, bro.
Oh, yeah, it was gritty.
It was gritty.
It was efficient. Like efficiency is key, and he didn't really care. And it was a good movie, bro. It's definitely worth the watch.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it would with knowing just what Bob told you, like it doesn't even give away half the like.
Right.
It goes all over, huh?
Yeah, it's deep, and you're just like. Right. But yeah, man. That's a good one for sure. What else?
I just did a podcast with my brother about Hereditary. You guys seen that one?
Well, I believe so. I need to I have watched so many movies.
It did come out a couple of years ago, but he got his podcast, The Horror Strain. He's been.
I saw him. He got that up.
Yeah. Huh? He's been knocking them out, but I just did one right before this actually, and we did talk about Hereditary. Now that's a fucked up movie, man.
Which one was Hereditary?
So it's about like a family that the mom just lost her mom, and she wasn't really close with her, but you could tell like there was some friction there. So she's dealing, like, even though she wasn't close with her mom, she's still dealing with the fact that she lost her mom. She's kind of depressed, but then like her daughter gets killed in a brutal fashion, like in
was it the one where her where the daughter's head hit the oh my
Yeah.
Saw that movie. Oh my god! I was like, what? I was like, you can't do that in a movie, bro. You can't do
Yeah.
that in a movie.
It's a twisted movie, man, but
It is.
great, great cinematography. The storytelling was impeccable. So we had a long talk about it.
Yeah, that was a good movie. That one threw me off, bro. I was really surprised by
Yeah.
that one. I was just like, wow, they had
Shock factor is big on that one.
What was that?
The shock factor is big on that
Oh
one.
yeah, way big, bro. And I was like, okay, well, if this is how they're willing to go, like, what else is next? Like, I just didn't know what to expect, bro. But that was a good one. Yeah, I would like to. I need to talk to him. I didn't talk to her, bro. It's been a minute, but I'd like to talk to him about like Dead. Has you seen Dead Don't Die? Have you? The Dead Don't Die. It's the one with.
I don't think I have, but I guarantee he probably has, man.
Pretty sure he has. But yeah, that's one of the ones I would like to talk to him about because it was an interesting movie. It was obscure. It was weird.
Okay. Oh, dude, hit him up. He will love to have you on. He's just been him out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna have to reach out to him.
Yeah. So, what else you guys been doing? Bob, you still working, right?
I am.
That's good, man. And you've been able to work throughout all this.
Yeah. My company's been really progressive in their approach towards this whole pandemic and having to work from home kind of thing. And I got to say that I have been truly blessed in where I landed because.
And you just got that right before, huh?
Yeah, bro. I started in January.
Okay.
I just started in January. My project had just started rolling in February. I got about a good 2.5 weeks in, and then the Rona.
I remember when this all started. We were working on your tattoos.
Oh yeah.
Like that was right before I headed out, where I was hit the road to Oregon. I was in Oregon when it really started popping off. That was weird being on.
How was that?
It was a trip, man. Like literally. So I was up there in Oregon. It was a little less like they weren't shutting things down, but that you could tell like they were like, okay, things are interesting. California was shut down at that point.
Yeah.
Mid-March. Yeah, mid-March. And so, I mean, up there, we're just hearing all the news. You know, they started making businesses close, but, you know, businesses were still trying to do what they could.
Of course, yeah.
Coming down is when everything really started shutting down. And, bro, the highways, it took me 7 hours to get from Eugene, Oregon to the Bay Area.
My God.
It's usually like a 9-hour, almost 10-hour drive.
Yeah.
I flew, man. Like there was
How
no
long?
anywhere.
5?
7
5
hours.
or 7? I was like, dang, you were really moving.
Floating.
Yeah. Like I'm used to like traffic in Sacramento, especially. Like that usually slows me down. And then in the Bay Area, of course.
Yeah,
Just flew right by, man. I got to Monterey, I think, in 8 hours.
that's crazy. Yeah, I'm glad that I was supposed to go to New York right before this, like before this. Like, yeah, and I'm glad I didn't, bro. I really wanted to. I really, really wanted to.
Oh, bro, New York would have been terrible.
I'm glad.
Yeah, that would have been the worst place you could have went, man.
Right.
I'm looking back at it now. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah, you got
Man.
blessed, man.
But yeah, I was supposed to go. It was supposed to be some good stuff, but you know, I'm expecting after this, after they release, you know, the restrictions, I'm hoping it's going to be one of those situations where everybody's active, everybody's ready to, you know, socialize and kind of spark events and stuff back up.
Yeah, I feel like if you know, it's not as bad as you know it was projected to be, you know, and things don't spike too bad, you know. Events are gonna pop off, man. People want
Yeah,
especially after being cooped up for 2 months.
I know they're letting photographers work now. Apparently, well, from what the other photographers that I know are telling me, that they're letting them work with obvious social distance restrictions.
Yeah.
You know, so like you could do portraits and stuff, and you know, so I have a shoot Sunday.
There you go.
Gonna work with somebody first time finally.
Yeah, that's good, man.
That's dope.
Tell me what you like. What creative things were you trying out during all this, you know, like big thing for me is like being an artist and not having that paycheck, you know, that I was used to.
Yeah.
All this was just another day for me as far as like just pivoting and figuring out, all right, I got to be creative and figure out new ways to make income. Is there any things that you were doing?
You know what, bro? We were just kind of just floating what we had. Luckily for me, my wife is essential, so she's been out there
Oh, cool.
in her work, but you know, holding down the fort. But for me, it's allowed me to kind of just focus on, you know, prepping what I had already planned, you know, to do. A lot of stuff I had planned to do. I wanted to get like my art. I wanted to get art together so I could actually start selling frame prints. You know, get some actual print, like get a store set up so I can start selling actual regular, just like 4x7s and postcards and stuff like that. So now it's freedom to kind of just focus on that because I was working a lot toward the end of 2019. You know, so it's hard to sit down and edit a website or edit photos. Like I was like, I'm not doing anything. Like I'm just chilling. So
Yeah.
so for me, you know, it hasn't been too much. I've just been just getting my art stuff together, and then just trying to just reach out and network with different, you know, models and whatnot, trying to build a network. So hopefully I can get, you know, into something once this picks up.
That's perfect. Like that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like the networking, building a business plan is like essential.
Yeah,
Keeping like just having a plan, you know, because once everything opens up, there's gonna be the people who are like, oh, okay, I just want to party, hang out, and then there's gonna be people who are like, all right, it's time to get back to work, get back to work quick. 'Cause,
yeah. The thing that I like my mindset on it too is I'm seeing a lot of people like it's a lot of the thing that being isolated in a home for a long period of time does is it fucks with your mind. Like
yeah,
It does.
for sure.
it fucks with your mind. And so for me, like I've been in this situation already for some time. I was on disability for a while, you know, stuck in the house. So I was used to kind of being inside with myself, with my head. And we're not normally, I feel like a lot of people aren't used to dealing with that. And so like we always do stuff to stay busy, busy, busy. So we don't have to deal with the things that kind of, you know, linger in the dark, kind of, so to speak. So what I've noticed is a lot of people are running around here with their heads cut off, screaming, "The sky is falling! The sky is falling!" Until the sky, you know, doesn't fall anymore. You know, until the waters are clear, and they're gonna try to reach life as normal. I was like, man, by that point, you're gonna be so far behind. Like I could take this opportunity to really push myself so that when the gates do open, I'm coming out the gates full sprint while these cats are still trying to start up and crank up their motor. And so,
Well, what do we do now?
yeah, pretty much. So for me, it's just been big. Like, what can I do? That's what I'm asking myself. It's not what can't I do because I at the beginning of this, I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. I can't go out and do. I can't do this. And I was like, well, what can I do? Well, I can start my art stuff. I can, you know, reach out and see if you know I could do, you know, do some type of work, drive by photography. You know, I can do the stuff that I enjoy, like landscapes. I definitely shied away from that. So doing more landscapes and getting out there, exploring, you know, the places I used to go. So it's been nice. It's kind of is refreshing.
I feel like this is a great time for photography to be like getting out there and doing landscapes, especially with people being not on the scene. You know, it's like I've been curious to seeing what photographers and videographers are doing in the city, especially having the streets empty and stuff.
Yeah, I follow a few, man. It's been interesting to see a lot of the like just the emptiness, the street photography.
Yeah.
It's been empty, but I'm going out there Sunday, and like I said, I don't know what to expect really, you know. But it should be interesting. It's going to be a fashion shoot, kind of
Nice.
vlog style shot. So
Well, I'll be curious to see what you find out there.
yeah, it'll be interesting.
My brother's out there. He says it's pretty locked down still.
Yeah,
Slowly coming to life, but he says it's still pretty ghost-like in the city.
yeah, man. People, it'll be interesting once they actually open up to see how people act. Because even now, I'm seeing like as you pass people, hey, how you doing? They just, I'm not trying to look at you. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're weird.
Right?
You're weird.
feel like people's attitudes have changed from the beginning to the end of this. Like in the beginning, I felt like I was going out taking walks a lot with, and people were really nice. You know, like everyone
Mm.
was just like, "How's it going?" Like people were talking. As this has gone along, I've noticed that people are a little bit more like
Apprehensive.
everything, man. It's hard to judge people. You know, it's like hard to gather what's going on. So I feel like people are just a lot more suspicious of each other.
Yeah, like maybe they're exercising caution. I don't know, man. It's weird, but I'm like, you can't get. I don't have anything, first of all. But even saying hi, the word hi, like that's not caring how much bacteria, how much virus. I'm not hitting you with this hi, spitty hi. Like I don't know.
I mean, it just speaks to their ignorance on virus transmission, which is what's causing a lot of the, stop an issue with what we had to begin with, like people not complying, right? Because they're unaware of how viruses get spread. They think that you simply saying hello could give them corona. So then they start acting like a dick to you. Like it's just that ignorance, you feel me? I mean,
I feel like that's a failure of the media as well. You know, they should be really divulging to people like, look, this is what's going on. But instead, they like spreading fear. You know, getting people riled up.
right. And then you have that whole veil of the media now where people are, suspect of everything, right? Is it fake news? Is it real news? Is it fake news? Like I saw this one article that said something about fake news actually being real news or something like that. And it's just I threw my hands up. I was like, I'm fucking over it now. I'm like, so I guess there goes the newspaper, bro. I'm like, I'm over it. Like, right?
You know what's been tripping me out this whole time is the fact that I could walk in a store with a bandana on and no one bats an eye anymore. If I'd have been,
Right.
if I'd
Bro,
have done that 3 months ago, people would have lost their shit. They'd be like, "Oh,
bro,
this is a straight stick up."
I'm telling
Okay.
you.
So
But
this is one of the weird things for us being like colored people in America. Like that's something that we think about. Like, oh, I think about that all the time now. I'm like, man, if I was going into a store with a bandana, I'd be stopped immediately. You know.
Immediate at the door. Hey,
And
hey.
now it's just like, oh, just another person.
sir,
So
take that bandana off, please. No bandanas in the store. There's our store policy. No, what? Like, no, nowadays it's cool. Like, oh, nice bandana, bro. Like, all right, I guess.
Hey, and to keep it 100, that's if they're polite. If not, you're just gonna get followed around the store the whole damn time, bro. You feel me? If they don't say nothing up front, then they're just gonna walk around, bro. Just act like you happen to be on their patrol route, bro. Everywhere you go when you're searching.
Hey, but from now on, that's a green light to wear a bandana. Even after it, I'm just to say, you remember COVID-19?
it's
Right.
always
Never forget, son.
Never forget.
That's what should say on the bandana. Never forget.
Never forget COVID, the COVID crisis 2020.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy, man. And the people are saying, "Oh, I think I had it last year." Oh, I bet I think I had it. At the beginning, they said they didn't know what I had. I was sick for no reason, and
Well, that's what's weird. Like, beginning of last year, actually, beginning of 2019, I got deathly sick with. I mean, it was basically everything that they're talking about. Like, I couldn't breathe. I was I was fucked up.
yeah.
And that was a year ago. And I just figured, man, the flu's getting stronger, and it's like shit's nasty.
He's doing push-ups.
Yeah, now that but now that all this is going on, I'm like, how long has this shit been around? Like,
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be something that we're just gonna have to live with, bro. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
things that we have to live with, and there's gonna be real, like how it's already been so long. Like they're saying what the last news article I read, they're saying that China kept it covered or hidden for 2 months.
yeah.
And
We're not gonna know the full story of what.
like no one's gonna know at this point. I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care.
Yeah.
What do we do now moving forward? But all this,
Yeah, the full story is not gonna come out until we're past all this. It's gonna be in hindsight. We're gonna see what all the fuckery that was going on and everything with this. It's been a wild ride for all of us.
yeah, definitely.
I want to talk to you guys about, because I know there's some crazy things going on around here, but something that took the media storm, and I think it's something that's very relevant to talk about between us. Is this latest? I know there's actually another one that just popped up, but these latest racism things that are going on, the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, and just talk a little bit about this racism in America and how has it affected all of us. Like we've all grown up with it. I think it's important to share, like, even though we're a lot better than we were in the 60s, and earlier, as far as that there's not open lynchings going on. But I don't know, there kind of is when you hear about things like this with Ahmaud Arbery. So what do you
I
got?
was literally just gonna say that, bro. I mean, back then they hung us, today they're shooting us. It just seems like more of the same. You feel? From my 2 cents of it, I've just become numb to the shit.
Yeah,
To
that's
keep it
the
100.
that's the uncomfortable part, bro. It's become
Right.
numb to it. Just be like, oh well, there it
Right.
goes
There
again.
goes another one. You feel me?
RIP, but
Yeah,
like,
it's not shocking anymore.
yeah, the shock factor is not there. It doesn't, like, you can't really, like, what do you do is now the question is, what do you do about this? Because the latest article I read, they said that the cat that recorded it is going to jail. He just got arrested for because apparently he tried to detain him in his car and block him with his car earlier. And so I'm like,
wow.
you got people out there trying to be bad boys for life and shit, trying to do these citizen arrests, but they don't even understand the concept of citizen's arrest.
Right.
Like, you
No,
can't.
they were trying to do some gangster shit. Like they thought that they could go and
So
look what's crazy is that the community, like the police department, the justice system there, it seems like almost was protecting them until there was enough noise made that they had to do something about it. But it took them
yeah,
to arrest these guys.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, you're talking about Georgia. That's the South.
Exactly.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't feel like it was a, oh crap, we know about this atrocity, let's do all that we can to protect these cats. I feel like it's just the default state of the system to give them time and us none. You feel me? Like, and it wasn't until, like you said, enough noise was made, they were like, oh crap, well now we got to go do something about these white people. But like, let it have been a minority and it would have been the first thing on their list to get addressed. You feel like?
Yeah.
yeah. It's, I don't know, man. I haven't even read enough of the stories to even understand fully. Like, I know he understand from what I understand. He was in the abandoned house looking around. These cats saw him and chased him down for a few blocks and ended up eventually shooting him. But like, I don't know, like, it's just like, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I just got kind of numb to it, bro. It gets exhausting reading the stories over and over.
It does.
Yeah.
And to some degree, bro, it was affecting me. Like, I was hesitant to do certain things because I was like, oh well, it could be me constantly. So for my sanity, bro, like, I'm aware it's there, but at the end of the day, unless we come up with a solution to how to fix it, like, I can't. It's hard for me to exhaust so much, shouting. It's
What do
one
you think? What do you think it's gonna take to get past this in America?
shit, bro.
Say if you guys had a magic wand and you were able to.
That's what it's gonna take.
And it's gonna take a magic wand.
Realistically, it's gonna take a magic wand, but nah. I guess from my experience of understanding, like, a lot of stuff that I feel like racism is really wrapped up in a lot of fear, and fear comes from a lot of misunderstandings or lack of understanding. So what it's going to take is people to be willing to understand and willing to want to understand. But if no one's willing to want to understand and they're like, nah, this is how it's going to be, fuck that, then it's never going to be. Like, you can't force somebody to change their mind. They have to be ready to accept the fact that, hey, we got to do something. But realistically, yeah, bro, it's just, I think it takes it's going to take a universal struggle, and we're kind of going through one right now. But even then, it still doesn't even work. But like a universal struggle to love everybody to the point where like, hey, bro, we have to band together.
Yeah.
We have no choice because it is for the greater good at this point. So what is it going to take? Alien invasion? You know any aliens want to pull up? You're like,
I would say the closest that we came to it in modern times was like the 60s and 70s during the era of Malcolm and Martin. And with the way that crescendoed, like, I don't think it can happen here anymore. You feel like when you really want to objectively look at it, we've been suffering through genocide since we've been here. You feel like, and for some reason, it's been an acceptable version of genocide. You feel it's not quite as brutal as the Nazis, so I guess that makes it acceptable. But like when you really start looking at it from apples, to apples, bro, I mean, they've been kneecapping black people since they got here on their own development. They've been kneecapping Latin people since they got here on their own development. Like, it's like they don't want anybody to shine but them, but this country still needs to run. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's cool as long as we keep the ship running, but don't expect to hold no damn station. You feel?
Yeah.
And I mean, because we're considered the country, right? Like as Americans and shit like that, everybody else doesn't give a fuck because they're like, bro, I don't even got plumbing in my house right now. And you're talking about what you're going through in America. Like, me and Devon actually had an interesting conversation with a friend of ours named Obi. And it got kind of heated. Like, we were talking about aid and like why African Americans don't spend more or invest more in Africa. You feel? And my stance on it is like, I was explaining like, well, that's because we're trying to make it here, bro. Like, we don't have enough to sustain here. You feel? So the concept of doing for Africans is totally lost to us. You feel? And he was making some valid points. It doesn't take a lot of money. It's not like it's really going to eat into our pockets and, cause us to be lepers. If anything, it'll create a place for us to go. You feel me? If this shit really does get to a boiling point to where we find out we can't coexist here, you feel? Because we will have created a foundation over there through funding and stuff like that. We'll have a relationship. It'd be a much easier integration, you feel me, than to come or be forced over there on some, we'll just go back to Africa because you can't make it here anymore. You feel me? Or like they just start knocking this off until there are no more.
Well, I feel like even that, like going back to Africa, there's a people there. Would they be okay with a whole new population of people coming back? Like, then they have to have resources to be
I
able.
was about to say, that's why if we started now, if we were to start investing in Africa, that transition becomes possible. You feel me? But with us currently in our current predicament, without being able to sustain for ourselves and still having the mentality of, nah, man, I ain't got it. If I ain't got it for me, I ain't got it for over there. Like, that bridge is another one that can't be built. You feel? So like, it's just, we're stuck in this sinking raft. And every time we come up with a good idea, there's that guy.
Yeah. Well, I think you touched on something that's like the fundamental thing is that people need to work together.
Yeah.
To become. And that's what makes it so hard is that there's systems of oppression that are in place that divide us. It's not necessary. Like, racism is a big problem, but I think an even bigger problem is classism. It's like they lump us all together and then they make us fight each other. We get mad at each other rather than banding together and saying, hey, there's a problem here. There's a class of people that are literally keeping us all in the trenches fighting each other while they're profiting off of all of our madness and chaos. I feel like if there is an answer, the answer comes from our communities, our close-knit communities, and learning how to band together. And it's a slow process, but I feel like that's always, like you were saying, the closest we've gotten was in the 60s and 70s when big grassroots movements were happening with the civil rights movements. The Black Panthers is a great example of how a community can come together and actually take care of themselves. It wasn't until the FBI got involved and they just, they
But like legit, I mean, looking at it objectively, that's what always happens here with us.
Yeah.
You feel? I mean, from all the way back to the slave days of Freemanstown to Black Wall Street to, I mean, our current case of a dude really just running out fucking exercising, bro. Like anytime
Hold
we
on,
get
bro. You don't even have to be exercising nowadays, bro.
right.
You about heard about homegirl that was sleeping after the double shift.
What?
And
That's the most recent one, right?
yeah, the boys busted in. The boys busted in with a search warrant looking for somebody that was already arrested. Apparently, her boyfriend pulled a gun and shot the cops. They dumped on her and killed her. Shot her with like 8 shots, killed her. And their husband, the boyfriend's being tried for like assault on a police officer or some shit.
Wow.
Assault with a weapon or some shit.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're fuck up. And I was like,
Wow.
wait, what?
And see, that's, I mean, case in point, more of the same, bro. I
But
mean,
you asleep.
that's what I'm saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
look at this from a humanitarian standpoint, bro. Like, worse than this or similar to this was happening in Nazi Germany. You feel me? They were walking in, rounding up folks, right? Maybe folks forget. I mean, but that was enough to spark the world's outrage to cause a war, right? We've been going through this shit for like 200 years and nothing. You feel me?
Well, what's interesting is when that was happening, we ended up doing that in our own country. We rounded up the Japanese during that same war and put them in internment camps.
We've done it to all indigenous, like different colored folks. There was a time for the Latins, there was a time for the Irish even, bro. Like everybody who's
Well, the Latins are right now with these ICE camps, you know.
exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like everybody's had their shift when it comes down to just being the bottom here in America, bro. Like, and it's so crazy, like you were saying, how they just play this shifting game of assimilation. You feel me? Because that's really all it is like they treat you dirty and then they do something that makes you feel like there's an opportunity, right? Take Barack Obama's presidency, right? That inspired a lot of hope in African Americans that there might be a future in America, right? But then immediately after he leaves, I mean, we now can't work double shifts and sleep in our bed. You feel like, like it was just sort of kind of like now it's feeling like, okay, well, they gave us this because it was going to get worse. You feel?
Well, even in his presidency, which I've talked with people a lot about, I feel like he went into it with a lot of momentum, like he was going to do something. And then I feel like he got in there and it was just like the powers that be, the lobbyists, like I think the pressure just got to him to where he couldn't get anything done, you know, like
He was getting a lot of roadblocks, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He got
Well, that's
a lot
what.
of roadblocks. And the thing, like, I think that
Whoa, I think we lost your audio.
oh, I clicked it. I said a lot. It seems like a lot of people are upset in the African American community with Barack saying, "Oh, he didn't do enough for blacks," and I was like, "Well, I mean, what you want him just because he's black, just to say fuck everybody else and help out only one? Like, you gotta help out everybody. If it's gonna benefit one, it has to benefit all, kind of thing. In that situation, that's the best kind of way to approach it."
To really even put it in perspective, like you guys are hammering on, right? Like he didn't get that much accomplished because there were all of these roadblocks. All of these roadblocks came from the exact same system, you feel me, that we're fucking talking about. And so that's exactly why I felt like he was a gift. He was one of those, oh, let's do this,
Yeah,
so
we'll
they
just go
can
ahead
be
and do it.
motivated. You feel me? Yeah, you feel me? But the moment he actually started trying to prove a point, you feel me? Okay, well, cool. I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna do this job, and I'm actually gonna do it. Oh, no, brother. Everything that you're talking about is going to make way too many progress points that we're going to have to fight against with the next person we put in the seat. You feel me? And then, I mean, to follow it up with Donald fucking Trump, bro. You feel me? And the shit that we're dealing with now, I mean, it's really, really hard to not feel like his presidency was farcical. You feel me? I mean, hats off to him for getting accomplished what the fuck he did. You feel me? With everything that he had against him. He gave us an economic stimulus package, which until recently was the fucking largest that we had gotten. You feel me? Right? I mean, and he did all of this in the face of that opposition. And like, I mean, Stretch said, the system is so good at its damn job. The same people that he was trying his damnedest to help are sitting there talking, oh, he didn't do enough for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, bro, like he gave you health care. Like he legit paved the way, bro, for you not to have ridiculous healthcare bills, bro. But like the propaganda machine, all of the all of what America's classist system is started doing its work well. You feel, and then next thing you know, you got confusion and dissension against amongst the ranks.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot to be said about how him being the first one in, like, what could you really do? You know, like he's the first one in. I think all the hype of that, like being the first African American president.
It was more celebrity.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It was more
Dude.
celebrity.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's, and you know, like it's hard for us to, because it feels so bad right now, but I feel like this type of chaos is exactly what inspires change. And right now it feels like shit, you know, it feels like there's no hope. But it's because, you know, we went from one extreme to the other within, you know, a decade period now. It's like that cliche saying that it's darkest before the light.
Yeah.
I feel like there's enough chaos right now that there's an opportunity for people to wake up. Will that happen? We're only gonna, you know, time's gonna tell. But I feel like if enough people speak up, we can inspire changes in our communities and then, you know, create a chain effect. What can I say, man? I'm an optimist. Like I always trying to find the hope, you know, like I don't want to live life where I feel like I'm hopeless and I feel like there's no hope.
I feel that. I've been walking that path now for a minute, that hopeless path that you're referring to, you feel. And for me, it's just more so been something that I made peace with as long as I'm here. You feel like I feel like as long as I'm in this country, the real is the real, bro. I mean, I can feel some certain sort of way about it. All making noise about it has shown to do is lead to a grisly death. You feel me? All remnants of progress swiftly dissembled. Like we're literally living in a propaganda machine, bro, and they are good. You feel like they have it down to a science. I mean, literally to the point to where, from an objective point as an activist, like who's the model for an African American on how to do it and actually have a life afterwards?
Yeah.
You feel? I mean, like they
feel like
literally.
a good model, just to throw that out there, is Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
She was pretty powerful and she ended up
Now,
a long life and she's had a major impact.
now, 100% and respectfully, I agree with you, but objectively, what real, I guess, agenda has Maya Angelou tampered with of theirs, right? Like she was a poet, she gave us empowerment, you feel me? But like, was she really up there trying to rally us like Malcolm? You feel me? I mean, like, because Malcolm got to a point to where it wasn't just about words anymore. You feel me? Like he was galvanizing action behind people. Like at the time, the Nation of Islam was a very, very prosperous Black community. You feel me? They had their own businesses. Like they were literally on their way to self-sufficiency. You feel? And if you believe this Netflix documentary on who killed Malcolm X and the FBI came in, you
I
feel
haven't
me?
watched that yet.
Oh, dude, spoiler alert. It was the FBI, right? Right.
I mean, yeah.
But I mean, so legit recently I'm sitting down, I'm watching this. I'm like, okay, Malcolm X, you know, greatest mystery. They were like, oh, who killed Malcolm X? They never really solved that mystery. They were saying for the longest time it was the Nation of Islam. The nitty gritty is it was members of the Nation of Islam, right? Due to false information that was filtered to them by the FBI to stir their ire against Malcolm X. You feel? The FBI sort of kind of did this mind fuck with the Nation of Islam and turned it against itself and just sort of kind of sat back and threw their hands up and was like, hey, they're killing each other. Like we didn't have anything to do here. You feel me?
They did the same thing with the Black Panthers.
Exactly. You feel me? Totally dismantled. You feel? And so now it's like, okay, well, if you're really trying to enact change, even on a community level, bro, like that's what you're signing up for. You feel? And who in their right mind? I mean, think of like me and Stretch. I think about my kids all the time when I think about this fight, bro. I'm like, I gotta make shit right for them. But how am I gonna do that when they just murder you in front of everybody, bro, and kill everything that you worked for? You feel me? Like, is that ultimately me helping them, or would I do more good for them if I figure out how to navigate this shit and point the shit out to them? You feel me? So maybe they can put something together, bro. If it's someplace else, hey, it happens to be someplace else, but like, I feel like I guess essentially I can do better by teaching my kids how to survive this, as opposed to trying to make waves leading to what they've displayed is going to happen when you make those kinds of waves here. You feel?
Yeah, valid. I mean, and I feel like it's events that are like what are happening right now that really shake the system, that leave that void where something else can get in there. That's, I think, is the only, like, me personally, I believe that it needs to be a full system collapse for things to really change, you know? So that's why, like, I'm not saying where it's like it's all pretty and flowers if we just all come together and hug each other. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's not what's gonna make a change, you know? What's gonna make a change is straight chaos. So that's what, like, and maybe that's just what I tell myself to get through times like this, is like, when it gets chaotic, I actually get motivated, I guess, because I'm like, okay, now this doesn't feel like the status quo. It doesn't feel like they're in so much control as I'm used to. Right now, everyone's vulnerable, you know? And I feel like it's things like this. That's why I've always felt like nature has always got the upper hand on all of us. Like, we play our little games with each other as humans, like, to gain control. But at the end of the day, all Mother Nature has to do is shake a little bit and we're all fucked, you know?
Right.
Or unleash a little virus, you know, like this
Right.
small or
Murder hornets.
yeah. So that, I mean, that's what I think is like, there is no status quo. Like, these guys fool themselves with how much control they really feel like they have, and that's why I don't adhere to conspiracy theories either, that there's some master class that's just controlling the whole world right now. I feel like there's people with a lot of power, for sure, a lot of wealth, a lot of money, but you can't control all the people, man. There's just too many of us. There's too many goddamn people to be able to control everything.
Yeah, I always I wish I could ask a conspiracy theorist. Just they'll never answer the question truthfully. But my question would be like, what if you found out the truth and you found out it was just straight up boring? It was no fantasy to it, no manipulation, no grand scheme, no nothing. Just straight up, people are just stupid and greedy. And what would you do if that was the reality of the world? That just we're just here. We happen to be here, and people are just dumb.
And then you have to find something else to obsess about.
It's aliens.
Right.
Like, but you won't get that. Now there has to be. You don't understand. The big wheel keeps on turning. All right, bro. Like,
I had said to my brother once, because he was really big on whistleblowing for shit. Like, you know, he'd be the one posting on Facebook, oh, look, they're saying this, you know, they're trying to pull one over on you guys again, right? Like, and I'd look at him and I'd be like, all right, you know, it's cool that you're out there like blasting this shit, right? I'm like, but like, objectively, what are you really changing, right? I'm like, because it seems to me like you're the guy standing outside saying, hey, it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain. Right? Like, chicken are like, hey, bro, the sky's falling, bro, the sky's falling. You feel me? And I'm gonna keep it solid with you. If you walk up to me and you're like, bro, it's gonna rain, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool, you got an umbrella? Because if you don't, you feel me, like, all you're telling me is something I can observe myself.
Well, here's the thing with those people, is like, no matter how many rational people tell them, go out, I'm outside, it's not raining, there's gonna be enough people that are gonna say, hell yeah, it's raining.
Yeah.
They're gonna join in just because they want to be a part of something that it gives them. That's the thing, especially with the internet now. It's like you can tap into the crazy of the crazy.
Yeah.
Where in the world, like, you could find someone just as crazy as you, And if you decide you want to create a cult or something out of it, you could totally do that. There's enough people in the world that
That's real.
you, no matter how your idea is.
8 billion is some long odds.
I'm a firm believer in everybody wants to be heard. You know, everybody wants to be heard at the end of the day, no matter what. Everybody wants to be accepted, and some people, you know, want to believe that they're bigger. That there is a huge, you know, master plan for all of us because it makes us feel important. You know, knowing that there is this big master plan laid out by some entity out there. You know, I believe there's something out there, obviously dictating some type of control over this whole thing, but definitely to say it's one thing or another and just stick with it's crazy.
I've actually been recently thinking, and this is actually due to a recent trip with psychedelics.
Ooh.
Right. That the whole concept that anything out there took time out of its motherfucking existence to plan your fucking life is really fucking egotistical. You feel me? Like, I've just been pondering on that recently, bro. And I'm like, where the fuck did we get this? That something was literally so fucking bored that it was like, oh, you know what? I'm finna make some shit and I'm gonna plan out everything for these motherfuckers. Like, it's like Barbie on steroids, right? Like, oh yeah, bro. And I'm just gonna keep this system going forever. You feel it? It's like, yeah, no, I can't think of any creature in existence that would burden itself. You feel with the day-to-day minutia. I feel like at best we're an accident. You feel me?
Well, taking that same stance, any thought like that would be using an ego,
Exactly.
right? Well, like thinking what you're thinking, like, why would I put the time into something like that? That is ego.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
That's the mind fuck of it all, man.
That is the mind fuck of it all. That's I guess the burden of existence. Yes.
So okay, that's cool that you brought that up because so the people who my patrons they have been watching. I just posted a video today about the ego on my Dali painting. It's all about the ego. So I went down a wormhole, thinking, listening to people like Eckhart Tolle, Alan Watts, a bunch of philosophers and different people talking about the ego, and I was fascinated by how it kept coming through in all these guys' talks about how the ego is our thoughts. We identify with our thoughts, and that's what creates the ego. So when in the absence of thought, all these things that we think about, you know, pondering our own existence, what created us, what that all comes from the ego. What gives us freedom from our ego is learning how to just be aware, to silence that mind, silence those thoughts, and just be in the present moment, you know, being able to appreciate what we have right in front of us. That's what silences the ego. Fuck, man. And that's happened as I've started to get into meditating again. You know, I did it way back in the day, but now I've been daily meditating. And that's what that whole practice is just to get your thoughts out of your mind.
I've never been able to successfully do it, brother. Every time I sit down to meditate, I fucking KO, bro.
Well,
and then I wake up and I'm like, damn it, I did it wrong again, bro.
Is there a certain way you meditate, Cineo? Because like I have a process, but it seems like a more of a sort of meditation, like. But it's my own process. But do you, is there a way? Do you turn on, you know, Om sounds, or I mean, how do you?
Mountain Wave or whale song?
Bro, I got a couple Spotify track or playlists that I've been fucking with for it for sure. One that I really like right now is native flutes. Like these native flutes that it's mixed with natural sounds and stuff, but that shit gets me zoning. And then that and binaural beats.
Okay.
Like get working in that wavelength, the hertz. I forgot what number of hertz it is, but that's really helped me just kind of get into that zone. Now I'm telling you, I meditate every day, but that doesn't mean that I stop my thoughts every day. You know, it's like I do a 20-minute meditation in the morning, and I'm lucky sometimes if I can just not think for about 2 minutes out of that 20 minutes. You know, if
So
I
is that the aim, like to just stop your thought process?
yes.
Every time I do that, I lose consciousness.
Yeah. It's fucking hard, man, and it takes time, but just that little bit, like that 1 minute, and even if it's 30 seconds where I feel like, wow, I'm just focusing on my breathing. I'm literally not having a thought.
Yeah.
That makes it worth it for me because the rest of the day I like hold on to that. I'm like, yeah. And it's just crazy how my mind starts to focus better just with that practice. So even if I don't accomplish like clearing my thoughts and my meditation, just the practice of doing it every day throughout the day now, I'll be better focused. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really helped me in that sense.
So
Yeah.
should you start in small increments then? Because like I said, legit, I tried the 20-minute meditations and I feel like I make it about 10 minutes through before it's night time. You feel me?
Yeah.
Just don't medicate so much when you do it, bro.
Nah, like, so funny you should say that, right? I've tried it. I've tried it both medicated and sober, bro. Same deal. Awkwardly enough, same thing used to happen to me in church. Like, it's just this thing where legit, if I stop the whole analysis, thought process thing going on up here, and my mind becomes truly quiet, I become
You're out.
extremely tired, bro. Like,
Right?
yeah, bro, everything becomes drowsy. And then I'm just sitting there like, bro, why am I so fucking tired? You feel me? And it's like
Your
my
mind's
mind,
probably so happy to not have thoughts. It's like,
right. It's like, oh, we're not thinking about nothing. It must be night time, bro.
Yeah. I started with the kids. I've been like active listening exercise. We just go outside and kind of I'll stand in the sun and just kind of let the sun hit me and just close my eyes and just listen to the sounds, listen to what's out there. And then I just try to identify each sound. It'll be a bird's chirping. Okay, I hear the car passing by. Oh, the wind's blowing the tree that's over here, so, but I'm just kind of closing my eyes and building, visualizing them because I know what it looks like out there, obviously. So in my eyes closed, I build this thing, I build the world around me. I just sit there and then I picture myself standing in the yard in the sun, and then I just do that. And then once I get to that point where I'm seeing myself standing there with all the noises, the trees and everything around me, I go back to kind of what I was doing, clears my mind, kind of brings me back
to neutral.
So yes, kind of my own way, just kind of.
that's what I love about it. Like, there's no right or wrong way. It's just,
Yeah.
I hear that so much, and I swear to God, I feel like I'm doing it the wrong way, dog.
yeah.
Like everybody says that, and I'm like, I feel like I'm doing it wrong though.
You got to find something that works for you, bro. If you know that you can't sit down and do it, you might have to stand up and change out. You go stand outside, bro. Let the elements hit you. You can't fall asleep standing up, can you?
That's true,
Yeah.
but I can't relax standing up either, Stretch.
It's wherever you find your mind, like just letting, like just,
Yeah.
for me, what feels like a meditation a lot for me is painting. That's where I think my mind got used to it, and I can like go to that in my head. Well, like when I'm meditating, I guess it's having that idea of like, oh, when I'm painting, I don't think about anything. I'm just painting. you know?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to find where it is in your life where you're not thinking.
Okay, so I get that, but I get that when I'm doing shit. Like, so like case in point, when I was working on homing in my 3D printer, trying to learn how to get the bed level and get all the prints in, right? Like, I was in a zone, you feel, to where thoughts were kind of coming and going freely. Like, I'd have them and I wouldn't necessarily hold on to them. You feel like I wouldn't ruminate on anything. Like, they just be like, oh yeah, after you get this fixed, you can do this, that, and the other. All right, cool. Like, but I felt like I was just existing in that moment, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm not doing anything and I'm just like, okay, my mind has to be quiet. Like, that takes me to a different place. It doesn't even feel the same. It doesn't feel remotely the same as the freedom that I get when I'm achieving an objective, because it varies. You feel me? I mean, it's not even just on a 3D printer. I could have been working on like my game string. I guess working towards goals in general, right? That progress. I get that feeling then, but then it's like a juxtaposition for me because I'm like, I'm not sitting down just focusing on the sounds around me. Like, I'm doing something right now. You feel right? And
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
When you're trying to meditate, how many days in a row have you tried?
My longest chain is 3 days.
Okay. Yeah. I did 3 weeks of just struggle before it finally kind of started to sink in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stretch can tell you that patience is not one of my virtues.
It's a repetition thing, bro.
And that's probably why it's best for you, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's a big lesson in patience, you know, like you're not going to get the result you want right away. It's definitely going to take some time, man.
Yeah.
That's like, dude, I've been doing it now. That was at the beginning of quarantine, actually, where I was like, one of my good friends, she wanted to do a meditation group. So she gave me a challenge. It was like a Deepak Chopra 3-week challenge. And so we did it together, and we'd write in a notebook. And I think that really helped me, like being with a group. It made me consistent because I had to like do it to be part of the group.
Right.
And after that 3 weeks is when I finally like, I like this, you know, like I'm just going to stick with it. It didn't work the way that I expected it to, but I liked the practice of doing it. And after 3 weeks, I just got used to it. And now like I've been doing it almost 2 months, you know.
Good shit.
2 months. Yeah. And it's just every day. It's like, it's a good practice. And I'm telling you, bro, it changed me in ways that I was not expecting. Like for me, I went into it, I'm like, yeah, I like meditating. It's just I'll do it to calm my mind and stuff. But it was the things that it made me reflect on. It like, especially with the group, it was all about abundance. Like he gave like these mantras that we would just listen to as we meditated. And then he would talk about abundance and like bringing abundance into your life. Like you're not trying to force it. And it was all, to me, it felt like, you know, spiritual, blah, blah, blah type stuff, you know.
For sure.
But I will say, like, just doing that practice, I started feeling like I was less stressed about things that used to stress me out. Like, I just realized, like, maybe I should approach this from a different angle. Maybe I should just accept abundance, you know, like do this stuff. I'm not saying like things have come to me out of nowhere, but I will say is like I'm more aware of opportunities now. Just changing that mindset.
Stepping out of your comfort zone is definitely beneficial to doing something, you know, forcing yourself to kind of step out and challenge yourself, doing things you're not normally used to or comfortable with. And I don't know, I have a sick obsession with doing that. I don't know why I do it, but if it's challenging, I'll try to do it. You know, video games on the hardest difficulty. Why? Well,
Why not?
Why not? I have it there. It's available. I might as well try it. You know, so.
There we go. We can see you now, Bobby.
I know, right? I'm
dark
sorry.
over there.
I just noticed the sun was going down.
But yeah, I definitely am a big advocate for stepping out of your comfort zone, but being smart about it. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
Don't hurt yourself.
But pain is gay.
Yeah, speaking of that, I've been getting after it too, workout wise. Me, Rich, and Butler have been doing a Zoom like this workout 3 times a week. Yeah.
How are those guys doing?
They're doing good, man. Rich has got back into his art.
I see him posting more.
Bro, he's been drawing like 3-4 drawings a day.
Nice.
Feel bad. I'm like, God damn, bro, I gotta do more. Feel like I'm not doing enough.
Nah, it's everybody works at their own pace. That's why I freak out when I don't feel like I do something. But I'm like, if I just clicked a little bit and edited a little bit on a photo, you know, if I did some knowledge, I'm good. Yeah, so
yeah, for sure.
I try to stop. I try not to compare my work. I have a pretty solid work ethic when I am working, bro. But
yeah.
I do.
No, I like using it as motivation, you know, like
yeah.
down on myself. Like I'll just like for him, I told him, I was like, you post something today, I'll post something today.
That's dope.
Like to motivate him, but he just took it to a whole nother level. He's like, all right, I'll post like 3-4 a day. I'm like,
That man said, bet.
I'm gonna be the very best. That's how you do it, though. Just grind it out. Just repetition, consistency. But
yeah, I'm gonna have them on the podcast Monday. We're gonna do a podcast on the movie Life. You guys seen that one?
yeah.
With Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence.
Hell yeah.
God, bro.
Oh, I was like, or the other one,
It's one of my favorite movies.
the space horror one.
Yeah, no. I know exactly what you're talking about. No,
Bro.
bro. We watched that religiously, like when we were in high school.
Mhm.
Fucking, I knew that movie every line. Like I could recite that whole damn movie. It's one of the greatest comedies I feel like that's ever been made.
Yeah, that Life is good. I'm a huge fan of Tropic Thunder, bro. Tropic
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Thunder is for sure one of my gems.
What about you, Bobby? What's your comedy?
So I don't have one. Like, I appreciate comedies for the truths that they tell in their varying arenas. You feel like the thing that made Life amazing to me was the fact that it explained exactly what we were just talking about here. You feel,
Yeah.
but it did it in such a way that like you laughed your fucking ass off the entire way through it. You feel, and so it's like you saw the ugly and sort of kind of the good in there as well. You feel, and that much pain bringing that much laughter is what made that movie phenomenal to me.
Oh yeah.
Because it was a very sensitive subject.
Oh, I mean,
Super.
it's literally the history of America. You feel me? Like right? Oh,
Damn, I need to have you guys on too.
The other one that I like is Harlem Nights.
Oh shit, I gotta rewatch that. That was
Oh my god, dude, Harlem Nights, exactly for the same freaking reason. Like, it was another one that put in very, very stark contrast. You feel me? Black people or colored people's station in the world versus even gangsters. You feel me? And it was still funny as shit. like you still laugh your ass. I mean, and that one had all the originals. You got Richard Pryor in there. You got Red Fox in there. Charlie Murphy.
Charlie
in
Murphy.
there, dude. Like, man, like that movie was phenomenal. I like Tropic Thunder because of the reasons. I guess all of my favorites do have to do with race, bro. The thing that made Tropic Thunder phenomenal to me was the fact that Robert Downey Jr. did blackface. You feel me?
I was gonna
And
say,
he did it in
man.
such a way that like it was not offensive at all. I found it fucking hilarious, bro. Sergeant Lincoln Osiris is the homie.
Because he was oddly real but misguided. Like
Yeah, like you could totally dismiss it as like, oh, bro, he's just this Australian actor who's trying really hard to be that guy. You feel me? And it's just like, all right, bro, he's not trying to demean my race. He's literally taking this hella serious right now.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so damn funny.
that boy said, I don't break character till I do the DVD commentary.
Bro, I was weak, bro.
Yeah.
You know, that had one of the greatest cameos ever though with Tom Cruise.
Oh my god.
Not expecting that.
Dude, I didn't know till the credits rolled. I was like, wait a minute. Like the moment it rolled, like it all just clicked. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, now I gotta watch this movie again, bro.
Boy, savage, yeah.
That was a hell of a lineup, man. But
Man.
It was a good lineup. It was funny. It was a funny ass movie. I got they have like the director's cut or some kind of
the director's cut. The director's cut is, oh my god.
It
Yes.
was a cut that I haven't seen. I was like, what is this?
Dude,
I don't
yes.
know if I've ever seen a director.
There's a director. I have it on Blu-ray. If you have not, good sir,
Oh,
it's
shit.
fucking amazing. The director's cuts of have you guys seen the super duper cut of Deadpool 2?
Yeah.
No.
So like these director's cuts, it's I swear like only like 5 more minutes of footage,
But it's
but
worth it.
it makes the movie, bro.
Yeah.
Like the super duper version of Deadpool to me was so much better than the original, just because of those few key moments that they swap. Like, you have seen Deadpool too, right? So
Yeah.
like one of the things that they swapped was when he first went after the Chinese gangsters in that bar and they shot him up and he fell over on the side and
Yeah.
like, right? In the super duper cut, like he has a conversation with the chick who's sitting next to him. He doesn't just ask her for a drink. You feel me?
Oh, really?
He smokes her cigarette and he's like, I'm not gonna hurt you. He's like, but these will. And he puts her cigarette out. And as he hears the dudes rolling up to him, he like flails his arms up and plays dead. You feel like it chills there for a couple of seconds, bro. It was literally only like a 30-second, but it made that scene so much more Deadpool to me. Like, man. And so yeah, Tropic Thunder and the director's cut, bro. There's some more of that type of stuff, bro. It just
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
oh yeah.
Yeah, the director's cuts are where it's at.
My favorite movie of all time isn't a comedy.
What is
It's it's a blockbuster from the 80s, so it's cheesy as fuck now,
Ooh.
but that makes it amazing to me, like even more amazing to me. And it's Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, you're gonna love what I'm working on right now, bro.
Oh,
A Big Trouble in Little China poster.
fuck yes, dude! Like the actual movie poster type. You're doing that same one?
I'm
Or?
making a
Oh, dude,
movie
I want to
poster,
see
bro.
what. Oh, hell yeah. I'm not going to lie. I recently watched it and I was trying to find a way to add a little bit of it to, you feel me? Just something.
Have you seen that, Devon? Oh,
Bro. I'm
Russell
not.
at his finest, bro.
Bro. It's corny, it's cheesy, and it's fucking amazing, bro. Like, it takes place in San Francisco, Chinatown. It's a little bit of normal with a lot of bit of what the fuck.
Dude, it is such a gnarly concept. Like,
Bro.
it's just the most random shit, but it's
Wasn't it
great.
directed by like Jerry Bruckheimer?
Was it? I don't know.
I have to take a look at that, but it was like it was a big name director even that did it, dude. Like, yeah, Big Trouble in Little China is for sure the one. I think it's on Netflix right now.
No.
I think one of my favorite old school is Waterworld.
Oh yeah,
Waterworld, really?
Waterworld.
I love that one actually too.
Waterworld,
Man.
I think, was the first post-apocalyptic movie I've ever seen, and so for me, like, I was shook with the concept of the Earth being flooded and everything being underwater. These cats building a whole civilization on water with sea-doos and stuff. And I was like, man, this is crazy.
Kevin Costner with web.
Kevin Costner with gills, man.
Right.
It was just a trippy
It
concept.
was John Carpenter that made Big.
I was
Trouble
gonna
in Little
say,
China.
I felt like it was John Carpenter. I didn't
Yep.
want to say anything.
The John Carpenter flick.
But yeah, Waterworld is mine. It was a weird concept. I remember having toys, action figures of Waterworld action figures. Like, why would they? Thinking now as an adult, it's like, why would they make these action figures for kids? Why was I even watching that movie? Like,
Speaking of director's cuts, have you seen the director's cut for Waterworld?
no, is there?
Yes, and it's a completely different film.
Ooh,
I love it when the director's cuts do that.
Yes. Because
Like
so
that.
that movie was so fucking destroyed by the studio. Studio execs got their hands on it and they totally just ripped it. When you see the direct cut, you're gonna hate the regular version, guaranteed.
Oh, dude.
Because there's so much more to it. Like, it was a cool concept. Like, obviously, like you're saying, it's like one of the first films where it's like really a post-apocalyptic. Where there's no land. Like, what a great concept.
Yeah.
There was a recent movie that did that to me. That whole seeing it with the director's cut made it a completely different movie.
Yeah.
It made you hate the original. Kingdom of Heaven.
Yes, that one too.
Oh my
Really?
God, bro! The director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven was so
Which-
much fucking like it.
Which one was Kingdom of Heaven?
That was the one with Orlando Bloom, where he played as a knight in the French Crusades of Jerusalem.
Okay.
Bro,
Ridley Scott. Was,
Ridley Scott, yeah, bro. That like legit on its own, it was a great movie. I like the regular cut on its own.
I liked it, but I felt like there was a lot of fuckery that happened.
Right. I was gonna say
Watching it, I was like, this isn't, because I know Ridley Scott. You know Ridley Scott movies.
right.
It doesn't feel like Ridley Scott had his hands on it.
Right.
And when I heard the backstory that they really fucked him over on that one, I'm like,
They did, bro. And so when you see the director's cut and you actually see how the story was supposed to unfold, it makes a lot more fucking sense. It literally paints everything in a completely different light. You feel like it's dope.
no, that's a good one. That's
Yeah.
good.
Hey, I gotta tap out here. Gotta get the family fed. Didn't realize
Right
it was.
on. Yeah, we've been going on what, a good hour and a half.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, this has been great.
I could keep on going, but I don't think the family would be digging it. That hunger settle in, and
No, that's cool, man. No, I appreciate you guys coming on. We'll do this again. You
yeah,
know?
let's do it again, bro. For sure, it's fun. It's definitely interesting, and then when all this quarantine and they let us all linger and hang out again, for sure to do a in person.
Oh man, I can't wait to like get it set up where I have a studio where we can all just chill.
I think it'd be dope to do a beach session, bro.
Yeah?
Down in Monterey, like a sunset session. That's something like that, bro. Nice little get the camera rolling, bro, and just set something up out there. I think that'd be kind of dope.
All I need is my laptop. I got an external hard drive with all my sounds on it.
Oh yeah, I'm all about it, guys.
Yeah, we can make something happen for sure. We'll get together. I'll hit you up later on this week. You guys be safe.
Hell yeah, man. You too,
Yeah.
bro.
All right, bro.
All right. Well, before you cut out, I just want to thank you guys. We'll make an end to this for now. Appreciate everyone who tuned in and you're watching this. Log or follow the sessions on Instagram. We have a YouTube now, the Sessions Podcast. Follow, what's your tag? Devon?
2005.
Follow that. Got great photography.
Instagram.
I don't social media
Bobby?
yet. I'll have one for the next time.
Yeah, Bob's an underground. He stays off of all that shit.
Hey, bro, I'm an '80s baby, bro. Like I'm sorry, I haven't been able to keep up with you guys, bro. The Instagrams, the Twitters, the face. I use Facebook like a 60-year-old, bro. I know. And I took a survey, bro, and they told me legit, bro, I fit in that 55 and up or 65 and up group for Facebook. Bro.
You're an old soul, man.
Bro. Bro, so I'm going to catch up. I'll be there soon, y'all. I'm working on it.
For sure.
Right on, guys. Well, appreciate you guys coming on. This is the first episode, Quarantine Edition. Hope you all, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, man.
All right, you guys take care.
See ya.